I didn't know how, and I didn't know nothing. I just left and I drove around. I put it, and I just put it in there.
Avila was arrested and charged with attempted first-degree murder and abuse of a child. She was placed on house arrest.
Alexis was asked by investigators what she thought would eventually happen to the baby. Alexis remained silent and could not answer.
Fortunately, what she may have assumed did not happen.
The baby was treated at Covenant Health Hospital and later airlifted to medical facilities in Lubbock, Texas.
He was treated for hypothermia and lived. A shocking story of survival, all caught on video.
Opening statements happened earlier this week, and we've been bringing you key moments. Before we hear from the woman who found the baby, I want to bring in Scott Friedman and Dr. Laura Pettler. Just tell me, Scott, let me start with you. She's been charged with attempted murder as well as abuse of a child resulting in death or great bodily harm. The child did survive, but what do you think of those particular charges for an 18-year-old who's caught on video doing this?
Well, I think that's what they had to bring, and under the circumstances, at least at this point. She's caught on video. You know, my curiosity is going to be, Judge Ashley, if they put this young lady on the witness stand. I had not seen those detective videos until just now, which does show some of her thought process and emotion, because you think to yourself, who would ever do this? I mean, and it wasn't just placing the baby in the dumpster, it was sort of like a sack of potatoes, throwing it in there. So I'd be curious to see how they unfold the defense with their strategy with respect to those kinds of matters and her state of mind.
I agree with you, Scott. I hadn't seen those either until right now, and her voice, and she seemed so young. I'm not excusing her behavior, but I do think it adds another element for the jury's consideration. Laura, tell us your thoughts, please, if you would.
I had two thoughts, Ashley, while I was watching her. The first thing was that she used the pronoun it. She said, I just put it in there, I didn't put him in there, I didn't put her in there, I didn't, you know, she didn't identify the object as a human child, as a baby. She used the word it. And the second thing was what the chief of police was saying. And he was saying they asked her what she thought would happen to the baby when she put the baby in the dumpster, and he said she couldn't respond. I don't agree with that. I think she could respond, and she chose not to respond because she knew exactly what would happen to the baby if she put him in the dumpster.
And it was cold, cold out.
Very cold.
Yeah, the fact this baby survived truly is a miracle. It's a crazy case. All right, I want to thank you, Scott Friedman and Dr. Laura Pettler, for joining me this hour. We're going to let you go because we're going to get back into testimony in this case. We're about to hear from the woman who was going through the dumpster with two other men that night when they made the shocking discovery. They found the baby. Now, keep in mind, the witness is hard to see because of where the prosecutor is standing. Let's go into court.
Please state your name for the jury.
April Nuttall.
Ms. Nuttall, what city and state do you live in?
Hobbs, New Mexico, 88240.
And how long have you lived in Hobbs?
Born and raised.
Do you know a person by the name of Hector Hasso?
Yes, ma'am. That's my boyfriend.
And how long have you known
Yes, ma'am.
Sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. How long have you known Hector?
I met him way back when, but I've been with him for like 2-something years now.
Do you know a person by the name of Michael Green?
Yes, ma'am.
How do you know Michael?
When I was living, I was homeless and living on a mattress, and we become good friends over the years. And I met him, I met his dad, and we're good friends.
Let me kind of move you to the day that you were at the dumpsters with Hector and Michael, and you found a bag that had something in it.
Yeah, we were driving, and Michael wanted a ride to where he wanted to go, and
I would object, Judge. It's not responsive at this point. She responded, but now it's narrative.
and
Just a minute.
okay,
Sustain.
sorry.
Answer the question that's asked.
You know what?
Just answer the question she asked you.
Yeah.
No, wait,
wait.
Let's start with the question, okay?
Okay, what's the question?
I'm going to ask you the question.
Okay.
So Michael wanted a ride, and so did you all end up stopping somewhere?
Yeah, Hector decided to go dumpster diving, and I sat in the truck, and I got bored, and so I turned around and looked at him, and I saw Michael look in the bag, and then Hector said something about he heard a cat or a dog, and I said, oh, hold on, let me hear. And I said, that don't sound like no cat or dog. And I ripped the bag open. I said, oh my freaking God, it's a baby. And he could barely even cry. He was so hoarse and he's so freezing cold. I was warming his little arms up. I went to pick his body up by his body, and I forgot about the newborns having difficulties holding their head up, and I accidentally picked him up, but his head went back, so I set him back down in the trash. And trying to maneuver him, and Hector said, don't touch him. I said, the heck if I won't. I picked him up, I grabbed his little neck and his body. He was wrapped up in a red towel. And yeah, he could hardly even cry, and we were all freaking out by then. And I had to yell at Hector like 5 times to call the police. You know, and he told me to go to the truck. And I sat down and I started to peel that red towel off the baby. And all I saw was a little bitty winky and a long umbilical cord. And
At this point, I am going to object to narrative, Judge.
All right. Sustain. Let's break it down a little bit with questions from the attorney.
Gotcha.
All right, 2 good things came out of this case. Number 1, the baby survived. Number 2, this case has really highlighted safe haven laws. I'm very familiar with these as a child welfare law specialist. All 50 states have enacted safe haven legislation. The goal is to protect newborns from endangerment. It's really brilliant. It provides parents with an alternative to criminal abandonment because they can leave the baby in one of the designated places and not be prosecuted for it. Why? Because you'd rather have a safe baby than worry about something happening to the baby because they don't have a way to safely drop off the baby. Now, in some locations, in some states, they have what's called a baby box. That's a box where the baby can safely be deposited. This is not true in New Mexico. The legislation in New Mexico requires specifically to bring your baby up to 90 days old to any safe haven site in New Mexico. Again, you won't be charged criminally. However, you cannot leave your baby alone, so you have to actually give the baby to one of the people designated as the safe haven for the baby. If you have any information or have a crisis, you can always call the National Safe Haven Crisis Hotline, 1-866-99-BABY-1. Important to know these laws and keep babies safe first and foremost. Next, we're going to hear more testimony in this trial after the break, but also coming up, Court TV is going to break down the interrogation videos of Letitia Stout being questioned about the whereabouts of her stepson, Gannon, who was 11 at the time he disappeared. Stay tuned.
Hello, 911.
Yes, we just found the baby.
A teen mom on trial accused of abandoning her baby in a trash dumpster.
I didn't know what to do.
The baby and dumpster trial, today only on Court TV. It's a mystery that's captivated the nation.
Lori Vallow Daybell, accused of triple murder.
This stretches beyond what anyone could imagine.
The Doomsday